My name is Jason Salomi, and this is Perfection, an athlete's perspective. Today we have another special guest. He's a GB Under-23 team canoe slalom athlete, currently ranked number 7 of all ages in the UK, and a future Olympic hopeful, Mr. David Paterson. David, how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Jason. Nice to
Awesome.
meet you.
The reason I invited you on today, man, is because, partly because I'd never really looked into the canoe slalom before. I've watched it. I never really looked into it from sort of a sports science or even just a recreational sort of standpoint. And obviously, you're one of the best young athletes at your sport in the country. So I really wanted to get into speaking to you about it, and also maybe trying to learn some things from you that I can put into my sport, American football.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm an open book, I think, and there's a lot of detail and kind of things you might not think about when you watch Canoe Slalom. So I'm happy to share them with you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. When I was looking into a few studies, there was a few things that I picked up. There was a study done in 2019 that looked at sort of what makes a good slalom athlete, a good canoe athlete, and it was talking about just straight stamina and endurance versus technical skill and experiences, resistance to stress. When you're training, what do you prioritize more? Do you prioritize sort of actually working on your sport, or do you prioritize sort of your stamina and that sort of thing?
So it varies. Kind of day to day, you'll work on probably two, if not three or four areas. It could be a technical goal, because at the end of the day, if you deliver all the technical challenges of a course, you'll be the fastest, or you'll be one of the fastest. So technique's one of the most important things in canoe slalom, and then your physical aspects, so your fitness and your strength, they build on top of that, and it's kind of a bonus because it's such a like delivery based sport. Your mindset has to be really good. That's another thing you need to work on day in day out.
How do you work on your mindset?
So at the moment, it's really tricky because we don't have any races to get into that performance mindset. A lot of the time, you call it like a flow mindset. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
you have American football, where it's just you're not really thinking. You're kind of it's almost like an out of body sort of automatic process, if you will. And at the moment, we're trying to replicate races by having those time sessions against the people you can train with at the moment. And the weekly time sessions where it's competitive and you're just trying to get into that headspace.
How do you work on getting into that space?
So it's all about kind of you have a race day process. So
Mm.
when I'm on the start line, I'll know that I need to have done a good warm up. My warm up might be the same as what I do in training,
Yeah.
but to be like a routine almost to get me into that relaxed but energized state. Kind of by practicing that every day,
Mm.
then it's natural and it takes the pressure off you a lot of the time because it's a very high pressure sport because you only get 90 seconds to deliver your best. And then if you don't deliver your best, you could be out of the competition straight away.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually realize how quick it was, and also you guys are moving so fast. Any sort of penalty you get really messes up timing and stuff. And quickly understanding that flow mindset, is that something that you found easy, or was it something that you sort of struggled with?
I definitely found it quite easy when I was younger, but I think as I've got to a higher level and there's more to think about, there's more detail in the plan that you make before you do a run,
Yeah.
and the way that you go about stuff where everything has to be almost perfect, but it can't ever be perfect because
Mm.
every time you water is a different course or the water's unpredictable. Um, so I think I definitely feel that doing things like meditation really helped me to get into that mindset or help me on the day to get into that mindset because I know how to get in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something that I've actually started to look into more, meditation. A lot of athletes from different sports keep talking about how much it benefits them and how much it gets them into this sort of mindset. And you spoke about having a plan for each course. Now, I was watching a few videos from, you probably heard of Joe Clark, the
Yeah,
G medalist, and he was saying that during the canoe slalom, it's quite unique because unlike most sports, he was saying there's like a certain, that there's a perfect sort of run that you can have. And I'd never heard of that. I've never really heard of a sport where I never really heard of a sport where if you do certain things correctly, you can almost not guarantee, but you can get very close to getting a really quick time.
yeah,
Have you ever sort of hit that perfect run during competition or in training?
Yeah, so the first ever time I made the GB team, I was 17. So this is to make the under 18 team.
Yeah.
We have like a 3 day selection race to get in there. It's the best of 3 days of racing, and I knew that when I came into the last day, I needed to win to make the team. Get on to the very last run, and I just kind of went for it. Was
Hmm.
in that flow state, and everything went perfectly. There wasn't even like an inch out of place or anything.
Wow.
We get into the finish line and just not remembering anything that I'd done, and that's a really common thing when you're in that state of just kind of automatic, natural kind of flow. You won't remember anything you did throughout that run, really.
That's incredible, man. I mean, that is, I mean, is that, do you think you did that naturally because you knew you had to do it and your sort of your mind took you there, or because I've heard in sometimes you get it in American football and in other sports when it's a clutch or a crunch time situation, you're able to go to a different place like that flow state that you're talking about. Is that something that you think you just kind of did naturally?
I think on that day, yeah, it was definitely a day where my attitude and my mindset to that day, from the very like as soon as I got out of bed that day,
Mm.
that I had to win. I knew that the day before, and my mindset was just to like let go, and give it my all, kind of thing. And I think that mindset leading into high pressure things is really important. So um, recently, I watched like The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. It's pretty popular.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things I've seen recently. And he said that he was just completely present, and he just seemed to be able to take himself into that higher state, um, whatever it was, focus, I suppose it is. I think it's really crucial that when it does get tough, that you are able to kind of slip into that naturally.
Yeah,
Um,
man, definitely. I mean, with the Last Dance documentary, the thing that sort of astounded me, Michael Jordan, is just how competitive he is. He would not let anyone get any sort of up on him.
it's almost like an obsession. I often get kind of told off by my coach when I look sideways quite a lot at the people that I'm up against. So I'm kind of like, oh, why is he doing 4 gym sessions a week and I'm only doing 3?
Mm.
And I'll like kind of try and push the boundaries. My coach is always saying, hang on, take it down a notch or go this way and that way. And I think especially when it gets tough in canoe slalom, like looking sideways is almost more damaging.
Yeah,
You can only control. They say to focus on the controllables. So
definitely.
I've got my race plan like suited for me, and if someone else is doing something different, it doesn't mean that it's better for me.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's something that I've definitely had to work on myself, especially when I was a bit younger. And it's so hard when you're so like you say, an obsession. You're so obsessed with getting better at what you do that you just think doing everything all the time at 100% is going to get you better, when in fact it probably just get you injured. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to listen to those voices from coaches and physios and what have you, and that tell you to slow down, because in your mind you think, oh, well, you're just telling me to get worse, when in reality they're thinking, you know, first of all longevity, and secondly, if you slow down a little bit and you listen and you're present, like you said, you will get better over time. So that's really, I think that's something I think I can definitely relate to.
Yeah, 100%. I think on the back of that injury sort of topic, I got a shoulder impingement in the middle of lockdown.
Hmm.
I wasn't allowed to go out on the water and train in Canoe Slalom or and do a whole lot in the boat. So I had to do a lot of gym work, and I generally only do 4 to 5 gym sessions a week. So it's not enormous compared to some other sports, really.
Yeah,
Like at the moment, I'm only doing 3 sessions. So to go into lockdown and do gym every day bar one in a week, it was pretty demanding.
yeah, of course.
I think going off the back of that injury, knowing that if I could improve other parts of my game um, instead of my physical development, or even just strengthen up those parts that weren't as strong, I think noticing the positives and everything is really important.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, definitely.
Grow from everything and learn from it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. And it's definitely hard to sort of to learn from certain things, because you think, if you do something a certain way, you get better, and then someone's telling you, like I said before, slow down. It's a bit hard. Um,
Yeah,
I want to also talk to you about sort of staying present as well. I mean, that's something that I follow this one of these Instagram accounts, like these mindful accounts and stuff, and it was talking about with athletes learning how to stay present, even during training and during competition. Do you ever find that sometimes your mind just kind of wanders a little bit?
yeah. It's so common, especially in those high pressure moments or in an unfamiliar kind of environment. So for us, the biggest competition at my age is to go to the under-23 World Championships.
Okay.
And in 2019, I went there in my first year as an under-23 athlete, and it's just amazing the kind of the pressure or seeing people you think, oh my god, he's amazing, he's won medals at this competition before,
Mm,
try and beat him. Um, and because canoe slalom's like a bit like surfing, you'll be able to feel the flow of the boat, the movement of it, and feel the water. So you know when you're going fast and you know when you're going slow.
yeah.
So at the time you'll think, oh no, not done that perfectly. I'm losing time. I've got to go faster on this next part. And it's not always about pushing it too hard because then you can just blow out and miss a gate or make a big mistake.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. And
That's where
yeah, it is difficult. It is definitely difficult learning how to stay present and kind of focus on what you're doing. That's definitely something I've learned to do as I've got older. Something to be honest, I still struggle with now, especially because we both, I guess, on paper we play team sports, but your sport is really interesting because you're in a team, but realistically you're not on. There's not like a team on the water at the same time. It really is just you.
yeah.
Um, so how do you do that mentally? Because obviously you know that your performance is obviously tied to the rest of the team, um, but at the same time you're also kind of one on one.
That's a really interesting point actually. I hadn't really thought too much about um because it's once you make that performance standard and you're selected, that's kind of like a that's all you needed to be in the first place to get
Yeah,
that spot. Um, so I think anyone that does make those standards is automatically kind of regarded as doing well. Their performance is already kind of made, and it's individual from that point on. So
mm,
where you come in the World Championships, you come last, you come first, or whatever. It doesn't. There's no kind of atmosphere around you've let the team down or you've brought the team up.
yeah,
It's kind of like we are one team and we work together. We try and help each other to get these individual performances up.
hmm yeah,
We all know it's like a learning experience.
yeah. I can imagine, man. And have you ever had it where sort of you've done a good run and one of your teammates has done a good run? How do you kind of deal with that?
That's a really tough thing. It happens so often. It's
Mm,
kind of you'll finish your run and you'll be absolutely buzzing, or you'll be down in the dumps and had a terrible run.
yeah,
And your teammate could be complete opposite, and it's kind of after you've done that, you have initial rush of adrenaline. You'll be thinking, "Oh my god, I'm the best in the world," or I'm terrible, and then you often have like a 10 minute or a 10 second or 15 second kind of delay before your mind kicks in, and you
hmm
think, "Oh god, this guy's not had a good time," and you just kind of chat through it with them, and
yeah,
often that, or you do see a few athletes just having a bit of a rage, throwing the paddle around or hitting equipment, and that can be pretty scary to be honest. And I kind of if I have a bad time of it, I might have a shout or whatever, and but you can imagine what might get down. But I'm generally not breaking equipment. I think there's a line with that, but it does show passion, and a lot of the coaches kind of support that.
yeah,
But if you're getting frustrated, it's because you enjoy what you do and you care about it, kind of thing. Um, and I think that's more important than kind of finishing a run and not feeling anything.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen some crazy stuff on the sideline. I've seen guys like miss assignments or whatever, or make mistakes on the field, and they come off the field, and I've seen guys like throw their helmet on the floor and like just
Yeah,
smash it to pieces. I'm thinking like you bought that yourself. Like, I kind of get it. Like you say, the passion when you do something and you really care about it and it doesn't go right. sometimes your emotions kind of overwhelm you a little bit, and you kind of can't deal with whatever happens after that. That's definitely something that I've dealt with in the past. But truthfully, I'm quite a laid back person, which has pros and cons, obviously. Sometimes, like on the exterior, people might think that I may not care about something that might happen in the game, but inside I'm like fuming or I'm really happy or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good in some cases and definitely am bad in the others. But life is a balance.
Definitely.
Okay, let's say for example you had a good run and you get a penalty. How do you mentally bounce back after that? Because I know penalties of you guys add time onto your run.
Yeah, that's right. So if you touch one of the gates, which is so easy to do,
Yeah.
2 seconds added onto your time. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's massive. It can drop
Mm.
you from first to 10th or even lower. And I think going back to staying present is really important. So it's like you've hit that gate and there's nothing you can do to change it.
Yeah.
So next, it's just next gate, next gate, next gate. Where do I need to be? Where do I need to go? Like, how can I get myself back on the line that I need to go?
Hmm. Yeah, it's like what you said earlier when you like talk about controlling your controllables. That's something I think I've spoken about in my sport, and a lot of coaches speak about. When something bad has happened, the thought process for me and what I've been taught is, what can you do about that now? You can't do anything about it. It's already happened.
Yeah,
But what you can do is you can focus on the next thing because you can directly impact that. And
yeah,
it is when you get your head around that, and it is so hard because I can imagine you've been in competition and you might have got a penalty and you might have been flying before, and now you're thinking, oh my, I have to make up time, whatever. It is really difficult, but when you learn to stay composed as an athlete in competition and be present, like we've spoken about, and control what is coming next, it makes all the difference.
that's it. Yeah, it's just controlling that little chimp in your head. I'm not sure if you've read the Chimp Management book by Steve Peters.
No, no, what's that? Talk to me about it.
So it's called like the mind management, the chimp paradox. So it talks about there being a chimp in your head and a human in your head, as well as a computer and some other stuff. But the main two things are the chimp and the human. So the human is where you're rationally thinking. So you're thinking, okay, I've hit that gate.
Yeah,
I've still got to do 23 other gates or whatever else. Or I dropped that ball. Let's go and like start the next play or something.
yeah.
And then the chimp's talking to you like, oh no, I've just hit that. I'm terrible. There's no point doing the rest of this run, or I should give up now. I'm not strong enough, or I'll never get as strong as that kind of thing. Like, so it's all the irrational thoughts coming through with the chimp.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So that's what the book's covering and stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting because even just going outside of sports for a second, even in life, sometimes you might make a mistake, and if you have low self-esteem or you have low confidence or something, there's things that you can't be good at everything. If let's say for example you're a bad cook and you make dinner, you burn it, you probably think, oh man, that's gonna be the last time I make dinner, or I'm not gonna try this again.
Yeah,
But I guess it's about ignoring that chimp, man.
yeah, that's it. A lot of the a lot of the best performances in canoe slalom come from confidence.
Hmm.
That confidence without being able to control your chimp, because there's so much negative self-talk that comes from your chimp. So having like a rational, positive self-talk is so important. Give you
Yeah.
that confidence to deliver something. Esteem, like I generally struggle to be positive. Like my coach will always say, like, "Oh, Mr. Grumpy's down today," or
That is,
um,
yeah, that ain't nice flipping.
he's joking with it. It's fine. And it's just like a little trigger to think, you know what? Yeah, I am lucky to be able to do this. Like on a Monday morning, instead of working a 9 to 5, I can go out and do something I really enjoy.
How do you draw the line between being confident and being cocky? That is definitely something that a lot of people can relate to. So how do you make sure you're not cocky and just confident?
Yeah, it's a very, very important point. I think naturally, just from my upbringing and stuff, I just kind of I never really had that cockiness about me.
Mm,
I had some confidence. Like I was good at a lot of sports when I was younger, decent in school and that kind
yeah.
of thing. And I think like just making sure you know what your capabilities are and not pushing it too far.
Yeah, yeah,
I can do that, but I can't like always do that. It's kind of like in canoe slalom, it's all about delivering a certain technique, and you know deep down if you can do it or not.
hmm
Um, but it's always tricky to know kind of how far do you push the risk. It's a risk reward game. Um, I think being cocky helps no one, kind of thing. In canoe slalom, it's pretty brutal, but I think in those sports where it is a bit more about being so confident that you can almost be the same as someone, but because you're more confident, you can take them down or anything
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I
It's
mean,
tough to draw it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, your sport is so, like you say, it is brutal, man. I mean, I didn't realize until I started watching it and watching a few races and stuff that they actually inject like jets of like streams and underwater and stuff and kind of changes the course. And so you're really like kind of fighting the elements here, man. This is such a difficult sport.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And there's so many diverse kind of styles of going canoeing. Like I know because I'm a smaller, lighter paddler, but I have a lot of like, explosive strength. It's better for me to be kind of smoother and then accelerate away from stuff. But I know that the bigger athletes or the boys that may be a bit heavier and probably a bit stronger overall, but
Yeah,
maybe aren't good power to weight wise, they'll just kind of bash through stuff and power the whole way down. But I need to be technically better than them um, to nail it. So it's a again, there's another balance in play there. It's like the confidence and being cocky and being technically good and being strong. It's all really tough to balance.
yeah. It's all really important. I can imagine, man. And if you don't mind me asking, how did you actually get into canoeing?
Oh, it's a kind of a weird story. So when I was about 10, my older brother, who's 5.5 years older, we both
Yeah,
used to be down at a local club. Um, and his rugby team coach took them on like a team building, like kind of fun day
yeah,
down at the local new club. And he decided he preferred it to rugby. So he went off and started kayaking.
yeah.
And then I got bored of watching for, like I watched for about a year. And I thought, you know what, I'm bored just sat here with my mum on the side. Like, I'll go and give it a go. I remember the first time I ever did it, I thought, oh, this is like the worst thing ever. This is so scary. And I actually capsized and I couldn't get out of my boat. Because you have I'm not sure if you've seen it, there's a spray deck it covers the kayak so that the
Yeah.
water's. And I remember being so little that I just didn't know what to do, panicked under the water. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to drown. And I actually managed to kind of swim out of the waist of this spray deck.
hmm
I was looking at the boat and I was just kind of floating there in the water, just looking at them, like panicking, like, he's like, where is he? Where is he? And I was just sat there, just like catching my breath. And I was like, oh my God, never doing that again. I remember the next time, mum was like, oh no, you got to try it again, you got to try it again. And we're going down the same little rapid, back where I used to live in Manchester. And I was in front of my mum and she was like, go on, you can do it, you can do it. I was turning around again, no, 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 don't want to do it, don't want to do it. I was on the verge of tears, little 10-year-old me, like, oh, this is the scariest thing I've ever done. And it was fine. And I grew to like it after maybe 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Um, just because when you're developing, when you're so little, going on that bigger water, the white water is really, really scary because you don't want to, like, no one wants to swim and get cold.
No,
Um,
imagine.
Everyone's worst nightmare kind of thing. But you do get over it as you get older.
I
And
mean,
that's the confidence thing, knowing that you're able to deal with that sort of stuff.
yeah, yeah. That is that. I mean, that's what you call perseverance, man. You went through a really terrifying. I mean, to be honest with you, what you went through as a kid, so, a lot of people might have been deterred from even like just being in water, let alone making a living out of it. And you've taken that, and you've taken that experience, and obviously a bit of encouragement from your mum and stuff, and you're now reaping the benefits, man. And hopefully, well, we might see you in the Olympics soon.
Yeah, yeah, I fully hope so. It's all just it's almost a game of luck at the moment. There's so
Mm.
many good athletes in the country, and we're all up and coming. And there's already athletes that are already going to the Olympics or have gone to the Olympics. You just need to be the best on that day and have a little bit of luck sometimes.
Yeah, definitely, man. you guys, I was watching Joe Clark, like I said, and he spoke about he doesn't really train his legs that often because you don't need much like lower body power in the canoe, but he does do a lot of core and upper body work in the gym. Do you sort of take that kind of training model and is that how you train when you're in the gym?
Yeah, that's kind of a typical canoeist sort of gym program. So see these top heavy guys looking like upside down triangles at the top, and then these other chicken legs kind of barely holding them up. Um, a lot of my friends have got disgustingly skinny legs. It makes me
Oh no.
cringe. Like there's absolutely no calf muscle or anything. You kind of thinking how are you even standing? But to be honest, because I'm quite short. I'm only 5'8". I don't really have like a lot of weight to worry about, so I tend to try and get onto my like hip stability and stuff. So I do like squats or split squats or hip thrusts and deadlifts and stuff like that, just to try and make sure I'm like robust because your hips and your shoulders, their stability crosses over. So
Yeah,
your
of course.
right shoulder and your left hip, you guys all know that from American football, like it's all interlinked.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's definitely a top heavy focus. Like I can't deny my legs are a lot smaller than I'd like them to be. But
I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like, if it's, I guess it's difficult because with my sport, like you say, I do sort of similar stuff you spoke about, a lot of hip stuff and then glute stuff, but obviously I'll probably do a bit more volume, but you guys don't really need to have much lower body strength because you're literally controlling this massive bit pretty much boat, with your top half and in your core. So I guess to be honest with you, it's excusable, man. It's not really. You guys don't need to worry about it. It's funny though, thinking about guys that are
yeah,
like really top heavy and have like really skinny legs.
yeah. That's it. Because we have these metal footrests inside the boat, so you do kind of use your feet a little bit, but it's more just to kind of feel it rather than push it along.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I keep breaking mine. I keep snapping through this metal, and I think it's just because I've got a little bit more muscle than the average kayaker, which is nothing.
I
But
mean,
it's
I
funny.
mean, to be fair, I mean, when I was looking uh, at Joe Clark, he looked pretty like he's pretty stacked. He's a pretty big guy. So I was quite intrigued actually. I didn't realize that you guys were so strong.
Yeah, it's all about the power to weight. So the people like Joe, so he's the Olympic champion, and then Bradley, he was
Yeah.
into the Olympics for us now.
Hmm.
He's those two are probably around the 75 kg mark, which would be light for you boys, I reckon.
Yeah,
Obviously,
just a little bit.
normally about 60, 68, 70 kind of thing. Like it's crazy how light we are compared to a lot of other sports. Like I know some of my friends that play rugby, they'll be 100 kilos or more, sort of thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's insane.
But yeah, like you said though, man, it is about that strength to weight ratio. I mean, you can be. I've seen it in my sports. You see, you guys are 120 kilograms, but can't even like bench press their own body weight. And if you don't have that sort of strength to weight ratio, I would much rather have a guy, for example, playing American football that was like in your case 75 kilograms or whatever, 75 kilograms, but could move at speed and it could lift weights at speed and it can get in and out of agility and cuts and stuff like that. But it really does separate the elite athletes from being or the average ones. You see it in every single sport. I mean, I was reading an article the other day about, it was kind of funny. This guy wrote an article called "So You Want to Look Like a Sprinter," and he was talking about how a lot of people that aren't athletes really want to have that sort of sprinter look. Sprinters look, they're lean and
Yeah,
in terrific shape. Essentially, people just don't really want it enough, and I can tell by our conversation you're definitely not one of those people. You seem like one of those people that is obsessed in a good way with your sport.
thank you very much. A mirror in my room. I've just got three things that I want to achieve. Hopefully next year if we get a season. But
Yeah.
I do want to be U23 world champion. It's written down. I know that every time I go for a run, go to the gym, anything else, like that is steered towards that. So that's positive of that. And then
See that?
negative,
Yeah,
putting
that's
pressure on
awesome.
myself.
No, that's awesome. Actually, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna, I'm gonna
Yeah, go
steal
for
that.
it.
I'm gonna write some stuff down. I really
Yeah,
like that, man. That kind of like that goal setting of you see it every single day and you're not gonna stop until you get there, man. That's awesome. Well, listen, David, man, it's been great talking to you, man. I actually really enjoyed this, and I'm definitely gonna take away that kind of goal setting you spoke about as well. And also, I liked when you spoke about kind of knowing and understanding the process and understand you can't always go a million miles an hour. And I guess I should probably start listening to my trainer because I have a habit of always asking him when I'm going to start lifting heavy weights. But you know what? Because of you, I'm gonna listen to him and take it easy, man. All right, man. Well, guys, you can find David on Instagram is at david.patterson, Patterson of one T 548, all one word, David.Patterson 548. David, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, man, and I hope you chat to you soon.
yeah. Thanks very much, Jason.